China and the European Union are on the verge of a trade war over state subsidies, especially in the sectors of electric vehicles, wind energy, and medical devices. The EU has launched a probe into the subsidies behind made-in-China electric vehicles and may launch more investigations into other industries. China has asked the EU to exercise restraint and uphold fair market competition and free trade. A trade war could disrupt their supply chains, increase their costs, reduce their market access, and damage their economic growth and recovery from the pandemic. It could also affect their cooperation on other issues, such as climate change, global health, regional security, and human rights. A trade war could also impact the relationship between China and the United States, which is already strained by strategic rivalry and competition. The US has been pressuring its allies, including the EU, to take a tougher stance on China's economic practices and geopolitical ambitions. The US has also imposed tariffs and sanctions on some Chinese products and entities, which China has retaliated against. A trade war between China and the EU could escalate the tensions between China and the US, or force them to seek a compromise. China's leader Xi Jinping has reached out to Germany, the largest economy in the EU and one of China's biggest trading partners, to help ease the tensions and safeguard the stability of global industrial and value chains. Xi spoke virtually with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Friday, November 3, 2023, and urged him to push the EU to respect the principles of marketization and fairness. Xi also expressed his hope that Germany would remain open to Chinese investments and cooperation. Germany may have a more balanced and pragmatic approach to China than some other EU members, and Olaf Scholz was also the first European leader to visit China after the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China and COVID-19 pandemic. Germany is also home to many leading companies that have invested heavily in China, such as Volkswagen, Siemens, and BASF. Moreover, Germany holds the rotating presidency of the EU Council until the end of 2023, giving it a pivotal role in shaping the bloc's policies and agenda. As Germany has a strong influence and leadership role in the EU, especially after Brexit, Germany can shape the EU's policies and strategies towards China and act as a bridge. The EU and China have some common interests and areas of cooperation that could help them avoid a trade war, such as the EU-China Comprehensive Agreement on Investment, CAI, that was signed in 2020, but has not yet been ratified by the European Parliament due to concerns over human rights violations in China. However, the authorization of the CAI has been stalled by the European Parliament due to concerns over China's human rights record and sanctions imposed by Beijing on some EU lawmakers. The outcome of the trade dispute between China and the EU will depend on several factors, such as the results of the EU's investigation, the willingness of both sides to negotiate and compromise, the influence of other actors such as the US, and the public opinion in both regions. The EU and China have some common interests and areas of cooperation that could help them avoid a trade war. The CAI faces strong opposition from many EU lawmakers and civil society groups who criticize it for being too lenient on China's labor standards, environmental protection, and human rights commitments. They also argue that it does not address the core issues of market distortions, state subsidies, and forced technology transfers that hamper fair competition between Chinese and European firms. The European Parliament has suspended its ratification process until China lifts its sanctions on EU entities and individuals. It is hard to predict whether Xi's appeal will have any impact on Germany's position or the outcome of the trade dispute. On one hand, Germany may appreciate Xi's gesture and try to find some common ground with China. On the other hand, Germany may not be able to sway the EU's decision or compromise its principles. In conclusion, Xi Jinping's request to put the brakes on the EU-China trade war is a strategic move that reflects both his concerns and aspirations regarding Europe. It is also a test for Olaf Scholz's leadership and vision for Germany-EU-China relations. How this appeal will play out remains to be seen, but it will certainly have significant implications for the future of global trade and geopolitics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure to subscribe.